Hey everyone, this is Brian back with a video. Been a while, but Adam at Splendid Sports Card had a little challenge for each of us to try and find outfielders with the strongest arms that we've either seen or heard about. And I picked a few guys here that some guys have already talked about. And this first one here was on quite a few folks' lists, Dave Parker. Obviously, the guy was a mountain of a man out there in right field, 6'5", 235, strong arm. In 1977, he led the league with 26 assists and finished his career with 143 assists. But strong an arm that he did have, it was prone to be kind of erratic. But either way, he had one of the best arms, and 1979 All-Star Game is one of the highlights of his career in right field playing there. If you haven't been able to see that video, I would suggest maybe popping it in to the YouTube. Next player here, I had to get a Cardinal on my list here, and that's Jim Edmonds. And although he was known for some tremendous catches in the outfield, one of the greatest catches he ever made was for the Angels, though, but probably a replica of a Willie Mays catch in a sense. But he did have a good arm. And from 2000 to 2004, he had at least 10 assists each season, and he finished his career with 131 assists. Now this next guy here, everyone knows Junior, but I had to get my rifleman card in there as well. And although he had a lot of injuries, he was still a very prolific player. Could have been so much more if not for those injuries, but Junior had 154 assists for his career, and may have broken the 200 plateau had it not been for all those injuries. But he played with a reckless abandon, much like the guy before there, Jimmy Edmonds. And some of those injuries led to him leaving the game a little bit earlier than we had hoped for, or not playing as much. The next guy here, Mr. Vladimir Guerrero Sr., he had 126 career assists, including 6 consecutive seasons of 10 or more from 1999 through 2004. And the thing about him is his style was very much like Clemente. He just looked like such a natural out there, and the way he's throwing motion replicated Clemente's as well. And it looked like it was, a wild throwing motion, but man, it was on target. And if I can find a couple videos of his, I'll try to pop those in here as well. But this is his Upper Deck rookie class card. Now this next guy here, maybe not many of you have heard of, but his name was Bob Musial. And the reason probably some folks don't know his name so much is because his teammates were Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth. And when you got teammates like that, you often get overlooked. But he actually was quite the outfielder as far as throwing folks out. His defensive skills were a little below average, but he ended up finishing his career with 157 assists. And in a 3-year period from 1921 to 1923, he racked up 69 assists. So although he was not well known in the game, he was known for his throwing arm. And this last guy here, whom I know everyone's probably heard of, is Mr. Tris Speaker. And he played again in the same period as Bob Musial, but he had no less than 12 assists from the outfield in 20 of his 22 years, including 3 seasons where he had 30 or more assists and 12 seasons with at least 20, giving him a record that will probably never likely be broken of 449 assists as an outfielder. And although Roberto Clemente is considered probably the greatest outfielder on this list, that is a record that Clemente could not even reach. Tris Speaker's career almost ended in 1905 when he was playing football at Fort Worth Polytechnic, and he injured his left arm so bad that the doctors were considering amputating it. But being tough like those guys are back then, Speaker refused, just did rehab, and ended up becoming one of the greatest outfielders and a Hall of Famer on top of that. So anyways, Adam, I appreciate you giving us this challenge. And if you haven't seen Adam's channel, I would suggest you check it out. He has some pretty neat little topics that he goes into. He has a program right now that he does a lot of called 3 on 3, where he interviews some YouTubers, gets their top 3 cards they have and 3 cards they want. And he also does a neat little program with Dylan called Turn Back the Clock, where they look at some cards from way back in their collecting years. So anyways, Dylan, I'll leave a link down below for his, or not Dylan, I'm sorry, but Adam, I'll leave a link down below for his site there. And I appreciate you all watching, and like I always say, collect like you're a kid.